Now we have a because you are slightly late, sir. We have a bigger audience to face you because some of the students are also late. So, okay, friends, let's begin the session with a short introduction of this great soldier who is going to be in front of you. Major General MS Jaswal, Youth Seva Medal and Sena Medal. He is a highly decorated infantry soldier. Sir was commissioned in infantry, the Rajputana Rifles. And if I share a brief profile, you will be shocked what all achievements Sir has done. He has served for 36 years. He has served in all you can think of adverse environments, anti-terrorist operation, vast knowledge. He has done. He's a product of YPS, the very famous school in Punjab, YPS Patiala, and National NDA, National Defence Academy Pune. He has also done long defense management course at the College of Defense Management, international higher operations course at Hanoi, Vietnam, and the highest course which we have in our country, National Defense College, New Delhi. Other than that, Sir has been author of 4 books, Crimson Kashmir. Then one book which has come out very recently was The Timed Out, which talks of time management, right? And another 2 books which he has authored. In fact, as far as the writing is concerned, Sir is my guru. He's the one who motivated me into writing. So I hold him at very high esteem. And apart from that, Sir is a really a ground soldier in spite of his senior ranks which he has commanded in the army. He's one who's been on ground always and every time. So there could be no better person to educate the future of our country. Sir, here we have with us about 76 people who are all going for their SSBs very shortly, right from NDA up to CDS entries, OTA entries. So the age group probably would range from 18 to 24. And on Instagram, seeing you live or 110 people, the composition I don't know, because they are joined, they are following AMAS, and I feel they are AMAS, they are defense aspirants, so they are also good to listen to us. Because I never leave a stone unturned where I'm able to connect to students with good speakers. Because half the time I find today's students, they are distracted into various things which have no bearing on changing their future. So this platform we use at least for them to know which is the right direction to work. So with this short introduction, I would request you to sir take on the stage and educate them. And even apart from the topic, which is basically student oriented and time management, we would really appreciate if you share one or your experiences of the long army career. So that will be also very appreciated. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First, I apologize for being late, about 10 minutes late. It's a technical glitch. We were born and educated in a non-technical environment. And first time my password, my internet email was opened by your boss, MP Singh. He didn't know. He told me, sir, have you got a internet email? Like, what is email? That is in 2006 or 2004 when I first time interacted on what is an electronics platform to interact with people. So today I'm going to give you a very small talk on art of time management. You all manage your time in your best abilities, but I wanted to give you a few snapshots of what I feel is about time and how you have to structure it overall in your life. Remember, you have only got one life to live. You don't have 2 lives, 3 lives, 4 lives, unless you're born a Bhagwan, which you are not. We are normal human beings. We live once. Afterlife, I do not know. So you've got one life to live. Moment you are born, you are destined to die. Whether you die after 25 years, 40 years, 50 years, 80 years, your time span has been written in black and white. Whatever you have to achieve in your life, you've got only one lifespan. So one lifespan you've got, and initial part of the lifespan, it is about your growth, it is about learning. It is in this part of learning, in the environment you are in now, what you have to strive for, you have to now start distinguishing from what is good, what is bad, what suits me, where my time can take me. So time, moment you are born, it is a constant. So your time of born and your time of dying is written. So it is a constant in your life. And it is a diminishing constant. The sad part is, it is a diminishing constant. It will keep on reducing as you keep on living. So your desires of what you want to do get compressed in lesser and lesser time frame of what you want to achieve in life. Someone may live 100, he will have about 75 years to achieve what he wants to do in life. Someone may die at age 50, he will have about 25, 30 years to achieve in his life. So it's a diminishing cost. Before you actually talk about time, what is this time available to me? Do you have an aim in life? Does everyone have an aim in life? If you don't have an aim in life, then I am sorry that we are wasting our time here. What is your aim in life? Have you noted it down? You want to become a professional soldier. You want to become a sportsman. Not everyone becomes an officer and a soldier. You can want to become a sportsman. You can want to become a teacher. You can want to become any professional scientist. So do you have an aim in life? What I want to be at age 20, at age 25, at age 30, at age 40, at age 50. So your aim, though it has to have a vision, a constant vision of where you want to go, it has to have aims which are achievable. You cannot, you would have an aim to go to moon, but you have to follow the minor aims in life, that you have to go to moon, you have to be an astronaut. To become an astronaut, you need to pass these exams, these exams, these exams. Then I have to join NASA or Indian Space, so I may get selected. So you have to break your aims into small segments which are achievable. It's all related to your time. Remember that it's all related to your time available on this earth. And remember, time is a diminishing constant. More you lose it, it never comes back. So tell me in your life, what are your positive desires in life? Anyone who's got a positive desire, there can be negative desires also. So everyone has a set of positive desires and set of negative desires. Positive desires are the one which help you achieve, it is on a good side of goodness. It's on a good side of goodness which helps you, eggs you on to achieve something in life. Negative desires are something which eat into your time, energy, resources, and they eat into your good time and your aim in life. So you have to now go back. When you go back, just it is a 10 minutes and a half an hour exercise. And after that, you can do this exercise for 5 minutes in a week. What is my aim in life at age 25, at age 35, at age 45? You can break it down to a smaller portions in life also. What are my positive desires or positive traits which help me achieve this? What are my negative desires which help me not achieve this? So, moment you are aware of your positive issues, of your negative issues, you can focus on the right path and achieve your aims better and in a better time frame. You see, regret, there's a quote which I am using, regret for wasted time is more wasted time. When you regret कि यार मेरे को ये नहीं करना चाहिए था, मैंने ये क्यों कर दिया, that is a regret. So regret for wasted time is more wasted time. just throw it out of window. If you have done something wrong, which didn't fructify good for you, don't regret it. Just throw it out of window, pick up your books and whatever you have got your strength, start fresh. Start fresh. Don't regret. Regret will always give you a negative energy. Regret will always give you a negative energy. Never regret of what has happened. Just throw it out. It was a useful waste of time. I wasted my time. Do it. Just take it out. Now I want to talk about something called high life points. Have you seen certain people are very, very happy? Certain people are always cribbing. What are high life points? What was the best time in your life which you remember after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? I have got few high life points in my life. When I scored my first cricket century in an inter-public school match, when I scored my first football, I saved the penalty shootout in an inter-school football match. These are high life points. Or when I got selected into NDA, when I had my first encounter with the terrorists, or when I got married. So I have got some high life points. When you have more high life points in life, you are more happy. If you have more high life points in life, which give you, remembering them gives you high. You see, what is a high life point? You remember an event which gives you a high in life. It motivates you. So when you have more high life points, you are more motivated, you are more happy, you are more self-driven. People who have got no high life points are always cribbing. ये खराब है, वो खराब है, ये ठीक नहीं है, उस बंदे ने ये गलत कर दिया. तुमने बोलो तुमने क्या अच्छा किया जो तुमको मोटिवेट करता है आगे जाने के लिए. What motivates you more to do something better in life? So if you have a very less ego, if you got a massive ego, nothing in life can be a high life point for you. If you have a very less ego, even a small issue can give you happiness. So when you accumulate more high life points in your life, feeling happy over small things which motivate you, you have come first in English, or you've done something better, you helped someone in need, in your birthday, instead of wasting money on beer and cake, you went out and did some charitable service in a hospital. You will remember that all your life. But this beer you have had is one of the 50 beers you would have in your other points in life. It will not be a part of your high life point. I doubt as of now. Okay. So remember also, time and tide. There is a very old saying, time and tide waits for no man. Time will keep on going. Tide will keep on going on the ocean floor and on the beach. It will come and go. So will the time. It will not wait for you. Sir, rukna time ko bolna rukega, maine bus pakadni hai. You are not there in time, the bus will go. So you have to chase time always. If you are not chasing time, you are not managing your time. There is a very old Vedic saying in Rig Veda, you are the origin of the world. You are time. You are their destroyer. You are the origin of the world. You are time, their destroyer. If you understand the meaning of this Vedic saying, that time, origin of everything is time, and destroyer of everything is also time. So if you can understand how important time is. So I've given you a little backdrop of why am I wanting you to tell you about these small issues interconnected with time. So you have what you have to do as an aspirant. Can you train yourself to tame time? Unless you don't tame time, you will not be able to be sitting on top of it. I'll just tell you a small example. Everyone gets 3 hours to do a paper. You have to tame those 3 hours to give you the best results. I'll again quote this example later. So if you cannot produce your best effort in those 3 hours or train yourself to give in 3 hours, if you don't tame your time for those 3 hours, you are gone. There is a time available with you in 24 hours. Tell me in 24 hours, please do a simple exercise today. After you go back in the class, from your classes, in 24 hours, what is the fruitful time you have in your hands, which you utilize yourself to achieve your aim, to get high points in life, to tame time, to get your efficiency forward. So in 24 hours, you take out the negative time, khana, pina, sona, nahana, chatting with your girlfriends on the net, boyfriends on the net, watching movies. These are not given, unless you're watching a movie which is in your course syllabus, that is a good thing to do. Or reading a book which is giving you something positive in your building your aptitude or training yourself. For us, that means you are woefully short of time. You are not taming time. Someone will find a fruitful time of 8 hours. Some great chap will find a fruitful time of 12 hours. You've got a Pradhan Mantri who says he's got a fruitful time of 18 hours in a day. So can you compete with him? He gets 18 hours to work in a day. That means he, in a 24-hour cycle, is taking a fruitful time of 18 hours. And 6 hours he uses his rona, dhona, sona, khana, pina, nahana, and doing other activities. So it is how you will take out your fruitful time. Do a small exercise. I have given you 2 small exercises to do. First, what are your aims at age, whatever you want to achieve? What are your negative desires and positive desires? Please pen them down. And then, what is the fruitful time available in your hand? So, moment you know this, that what is the fruitful time available, then you can accordingly meet his parents, entertain, socialize, but still he takes out 14 hours. And you are with great difficulty taking out 6 hours. So who is lagging behind here? Who is lagging behind? By the way, this is not the end all of life. 6 hours and 12 hours. We will also come to that later. Now I'll tell you also, please observe your successful friends. Please observe your successful friends. That chap has gone to IAS. He's become a scientist. He's joined NASA. He's gone to American University, or whatever he has done. He's a better hockey player than you. Why he is better with you in that aspect? You will realize that guy is more dedicated. He is little more dedicated. He uses his time more efficiently in doing what his passion is. If his aim is very clear in life, so his aim becomes his passion, and his attitude is full of of wanting to do something and he's dedicated to it and he achieves it better because he's more efficient in organizing his time. So it is the magic of efficiency. Unless you are not efficient in doing what you are doing. So I'll come back to the same example of giving you an exam in 3 hours. If you are efficient and if you are intelligent, you know every minute has got 3 marks. So if every minute has got 3 marks, you will only attempt 5-mark questions for how many? 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes? You have to work it out backwards and forwards. If the problem with us is, it is a 5-mark question and you are giving it 15 minutes to do that. That is not efficiency. Because you know that for every 3 minutes, there is 1 mark. So for 5 marks, it will be 15 minutes. Yeah, it will be 15 minutes. So you cannot give it more than 15 minutes. Anything beyond is a negative efficiency. Just stop, finish your answer in those allocated time. That is efficiency. And how do you train yourself to be efficient? It is also a training. Like you tame time, you can only tame time by being more efficient. Every day, get up or before going to sleep, plan your day, daily day, what I am going to do today and achieve that. What I'm going to do in this week, achieve that. What I'm going to do this month, achieve that. Then only you can, it is a small diary you have to keep. Early morning when you get up, I go for my morning walk at morning 5 o'clock. So I get about 1 hour of thinking, see what I want to do in the day. I have to do this, A, B, C, D, E. By the time I come back, it is imprinted in my mind. And the moment I achieve those 5 things, I feel very satisfied, relaxed. Oh, I have done my work of the day. If I forget 2 or 3, which I sometimes do, then I feel very agitated at night. Yeah, I couldn't even finish that work. So it gets piled up to the next day. And that shows my lack of efficiency for that particular day. I'll give you a small example. Organize your workstation. Wherever you are, I didn't organize my workstation today. So when I open my workstation, I find my Zoom app has vanished from my mobile. I should have actually checked it about 20 minutes earlier that my app was functioning. Suddenly I tried to find, maybe I had accidentally deleted it. So it took me 10 minutes to come on board. So I was not efficient today. Use efficient tools. If on your desk, you have to find a pencil which is broken, which is sharpener, which is a pen which doesn't have no ink. You want to rub out something, you don't have erasers. So that means your desk is not efficient. The moment you finish your work, your desk should look efficient. That hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I had an incoming call. Remove clutter from your desk. If you are studying GK, please don't keep your physics copy next to it. Please do GK for that particular time. You devoted 2 hours. Baki clutter ko nikal do. Because then you are jumping from one book to another and you are not concentrating on the subject you want to learn about. If you are doing mathematics, then GK should not be around. So remove clutter. Some people love to study with music on. So that could be a clutter to someone, but it could be a motivating factor to someone else. So some people love to do combined studies. Some people love only individual studies. So whatever is a clutter in your mind, which stops you from concentrating, please remove that. Now I'll tell you one more very good system. American President John F. Kennedy was one of the most fastest scan reader in the world. Know what is scan reading? You have an A9 page, you look at the page for not more than 15 seconds, and he could retain more than about 85 to 90% what was written on the page. Here we go. He said that the cat was big, the mouse was small. You are reading with your hand below the line, and you are taking 5 minutes to read one page. And in the end of 5 minutes, I tell you, what did you read? What did you retain of the page? Retention power is 5%. And here is a boy who comes, who just scans at the whole page, up, down, and he says, sir, I have retained 85% of what it is said in that. So he is being more efficient, and this can be practiced. If you practice scan reading, you do scan reading and try and jot down afterwards what was written on the page. You will realize if you do this exercise once for 1-2 minutes in a day, read, scan, read a page and say how much you can retain, and just on the other side, try and copy what you have retained and then compare. If you do it for 1 minute in a day or 2 minutes in a day, you will be astounded at your results. After 1 month, you will realize a book you are taking 7 days to finish, you can finish in 1 day and with 80% efficiency. So scan, read and learn to speed write. There is don't do a doctor's scribble, but speed write. Now I believe it's becoming a speed computer writing, but you have to have a speed write where what anyone is telling or what you want to put across in an essay paper, that you can do it more efficiently. Find your mind. You see, there are many small games which come in newspapers. Sukudo, some mind reading game which come. I keep on doing it every day, 5 minutes for when I'm having my breakfast. It keeps your mind sharp. It keeps your mind sharp. Indulge in these small things which keeps your mind sharp. You get books on mind games. You'll be surprised. They help you understanding and a logic which you had never seen before. And you will certainly find, because you're doing that, you start getting clarity of thoughts. You start getting clarity. You should have clarity of thoughts also. Clarity of thoughts cannot come without focus. Now I've told you so many things, from your time management, constant time, aim, desires, good time, bad time, how to be efficient, organizing your desk station, and then it comes from clarity, focus. So you have to actually start exercising it. And these small things I'm trying to tell you, scan, read. It gives you clarity and focus. Unless you are not focused in scan reading, you will not be able to retain. And you can only retain when you're clear in what you are reading. So you have to exercise for it. Always there's one of the biggest example, clarity of speech. We mumble. We sometimes fumble. You will be facing your interviews. You will be going to SSBs. What is he looking there? Is he looking that candidate X is a genius? No. Is he looking that he's given you a topic to speak on which is very technical, that you should know everything about it? No. You may only know 20% of it, of the whole technical issues of that discussion. But he is definitely looking at your clarity of mind, speech, your attitude, your confidence, your focus, your personality. So where if you start mumbling, fumbling, sir, aise ho sakta hai, sir, it can be like, no, it is either this or that. He is looking at your decisiveness in approaching a topic. Gentlemen, I'll give you a small example. You give me any topic. I don't know A, B, C about it, but I know I've got a confidence that I'll be able to speak 5 minutes on it before even touching the technical aspects of the topic. Gentlemen, out of these 5 so many interesting topics, I have been given this topic, which is a very current topic in this environment, and for your ease of understanding, blah, 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 and seeing the interest which is generated in the topic of late in national forums, I would like to divide this topic into 5 major parts for your ease of understanding. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5. कहानी खत्म, 1 मिनट तो ऐसे ही निकल जाए, 4 मिनट तो मिलते हैं बोलने के लिए. 4 मिनट में if you can't speak properly with your clarity of speech, mind, this all has to be trained. Now, which I come to you, break your big projects into small targets. It is same with the aim. When you've got series of aim, you've got one ultimate aim, which is your vision. How to achieve it, you've got small aims. So you have to break the bridge into big project into small targets. You have to do this book, which sir has subscribed for SSB. You have got 7 days to do it. So you have to do 10 chapters a day. So this is a small target. I'm just giving you example. You have to increase your time availability. You have to increase your time availability in your hands. So ultimately, you have to train yourself it so you can tame time. Here I'm finishing all about your time aspect part of it. I will read you a very small part of a poem of Rudyard Kipling, which hangs in NDA, which is an NDA poem, and it's a small chapter of it, and it is the most motivating poem of my life. Whenever I am down, I read this poem. Read the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. He says, if you can, and he's writing to his son who is in school, if you can fill unforgiving minute, every minute is unforgiving because it is gone. If you have not used it properly, it is gone. If you can fill unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, this minute, if you've given your 60 seconds of the best shot of your life, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a man, my son. So what is the essence of this line, this paragraph? You have to give your best shot. Everything वो फूकना पड़ता है those last 60 seconds के अंदर. And then only can you come out a winner as a man subsequently. Now, MP had told me to give you few examples of some. There are
so you have been in so many operations, you have been on the forefront, so many experience. Do share one odd memorable where you served our country, our army.
There are many of them. I wouldn't know from where.
I know that you have a cinemental gallantry, and even the YSM is also full of gallantry in the background.
Gentlemen, in my life, I've had more than about 50 encounters with the terrorists, and under my operations, about more than 151 terrorists have been killed. That is in my lifespan as a commanding officer, as a brigade commander, or as a general officer. So I do not know, because every encounter is so different and so unforgiving. Let me tell you about one aspect. This was Go India, Go Back 2010. I was a brigade commander in near Sopor. There's a Palawala, there's a place called Palawala. And suddenly people just came and blocked the convoy. But 10,000 people came onto the road and blocked the road. And I went up to them. I came to know and I went up to them. I said, okay, I'm giving you half an hour. Please block the road. Section 144 is in place. Otherwise, I'll be forced to open fire. I'll give you half an hour to okay. So I came back after half an hour with my quick reaction team and they were still sitting. And you see, you have to use your intelligence. It is not that you start opening fire. I told my video person, Mega, start recording, and I gave an order. Mega, my QRT line one, please take out your name. He said, rifleman number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 11 of them all lined up, about 50 meters away from this crowd. Mega number 1, chamber mein ek round bhar. So this is all being recorded on a video. So because it has to be then given to a magistrate. So, and I'm also giving a warning to these people. And I said, okay, aim at this chap, that chap who's not moving. And when I give orders to fire, only then you will fire. So I just asked my youngster, Mega, can you give me a binocular? So he gave me a binocular and I saw just behind the standing man, there were a series of women sitting. I thought, oh my God, Malaga, if any woman gets killed, it will be hell to pay. And I just said, Pishla Hukam, and I walked into crowd all alone. And I told my QRT, Mega, I am going into the crowd alone. If you see someone hitting me, firing at me, and if you see me fall down, open fire around me. Open fire around me. And this is also recorded in your the video clip. Mega, I hope you understand what itihas aap samajh gaye. So I just took out everything. I had one AK slung. I just walked into the crowd. And you can imagine 10,000 people and I'm the lone officer, brigadier inside the crowd. People are shouting, go India, go back, yeah, we will kill you. And they know he's a brigade, local brigade commander. So suddenly I walk up to the nearest lady who's sitting there. She's an old woman. I said, Amma, can you please get up? And she gets up. And I hug her. Mega Amma, jaake ghar mein chai banao. I'll come and have tea with you. And I'll request you, please take all these ladies away. And something happened to that old woman. She liked the whole, my approach to her. She got up, took the all girls and went away. So in about another 5 minutes of talking with these people, the roadblock opened. But when I came back, none of my superiors could believe that I alone, individual, could walk into a crowd of 10,000 people and clear the road in 5 minutes. It takes a courage of conviction. It takes a courage of conviction. What you are doing is right. It takes a courage of conviction to tell your soldiers, if I'm down, you've got a free hand to open fire. That's all one small incident I wanted to share with you. There are many, many more. Thank you. Is there any question you would like to ask me? I'll be very happy to reply. Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Any questions?
Yes. Okay. You have all heard, sir, for next about half an hour. If anyone has any question, you can type and we will ask sir to answer that. Otherwise, I have noted down so many things from this today's talk that I'm really going to start practicing a lot of them, sir, about positive desires and what I should be. I think it's not too late, sir. Even I can pen down what I want to be after 10 years.
Negative feelings.
And that's a very interesting thing, sir. High life points. Yes, I should also write down sometimes that what were my high life points. And scan reading is something which I think I'm going to start. So which I am a bit of slow reader. I think I will also use this scan reading thing, and that will certainly benefit, I think. So one question is boys asking, sir, what was the first thing that came to your mind when you saw a whole crowd of 10,000 people all hooting against you? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
You see, the first reaction is, you see, if you are a true soldier and a nationalist, गुस्सा आता है पहले कि यार these buggers are defying law. But you see, I am not General Dyer who's ruling this country. They are my people. They may be Kashmiris, but they are my people. This is my country. They are my countrymen. They have been misled. They are stray people. गुस्सा उस टाइम बहुत आता है कि मन करता भी डंडे मारती. But then you have to rationalize every action of yours. You see, you have to rationalize every action of yours 5 times. What I'm doing is correct. Will it set a bad precedent? Will it set a good precedent? I'll give you an example of a good president. In that agitation, which spanned for about 2-3 months, 2 months, a lot of these people started destroying police stations in their areas and started burning them. I told my brigade, in my station, in my brigade AOR, no police station, no government building will be burnt. That is your personal conviction. This is my government property. So they surrounded, they had burnt one in Srinagar, one in other places. And suddenly I get a call from, sir, mera police station ghira liya hai. I only told my company commander, you take 10 boys, one, we called it MPV, mine protected vehicle, and between the crowd and the police station, just park it and go and start smoking a cigarette. Kata, sir, I don't smoke. Mega buddy start doing a nakli smoking exercise. Sit on top of the vehicle, take your 10 men and smoke 10 cigarettes. So he sat there on top of the vehicle. There is a crowd, other side, trying to threaten, burn, cocktail. And a crowd knows that if they touch this army vehicle, they will bloody not leave him. Between army vehicle, there's a police chap behind. And the police people were so happy. They came out and thanked me. I get calls from the IG, DG, and suddenly it becomes the talk of the town within the army circle. This is how you have to make. I said, I'm not engaging crowds. I'm not firing at crowd. But I'm telling you, there is something which is more. If I have to assist the local police, I have to be there. If it gives them strength from me, it take strength from me and become more courageous. So it's a win-win situation for both of us. So you have to think through every problem of yours. Any other question?
Sir, one question is that what was your experience in Hanoi? What was that like?
Hanoi is a very beautiful country.
No, I know it. I know your experience. That's why you had come there. So yeah, you're right. Please visit it.
Very, very beautiful girls, very beautiful islands of Halong Bay. Country is full of culture. You see, you will understand it's a communist country. They are very, very proud of their history and their war which they won against first France, then again USA, then against China. They are very, very proud nation.
So what as a child, what motivated you to join on?
We were actually from, my grandfather was in Hudson Horse. He was a Fauji. So that time in World War I, Dafedar, I used to hear his stories that he had gone to Basra. That is one. Then when we were growing up, I remember bomb blast of 1965 war. We were somewhere in Jalandhar or Ludhiana. Then 71 war we also saw. I was in Jammu when 71 war started. So we heard all those guns booming. So there was always in me. I'm the only son of my parents, but still I wanted to be in the army. My father said, "You want to join? Join." There are many people who would have stopped me. So it is a desire, it's a passion.
Right. So thank you,
It
sir.
is not. If you are joining army for a naukri, you will never be happy. It is such a terrible organization to be for. If you're looking for personal safety, कि मेरे को अच्छा हो जाएगा, family अच्छी हो जाएगी. It is very, very hard on your life. My both knees are broken. My back is broken. My bloody shoulder is broken. I've you name it. Amount of accidents I've had in my life, all in the army. I could not even attend my father's funeral. I was deployed on Chinese border in 1987. It took me 7 days to come back, but the time I couldn't even attend my father's funeral. So it is very, very bad on your family ethics. If you feel कि सब कुछ ठीक हो जाए, very, very hard on you individually. You stay separately with your wife. In your 30 years of my marriage, about 15 years I've stayed without my wife. You are sacrificing for your children because he can be in a better school in Delhi. You go to field area. So it doesn't come without sacrifices, sweetheart. If you think it is a very easy life, it is not an easy life. It looks very easy from outside. कि सर मैस है, दारू मिलती है, पार्टी होती है, पार्टी सारा महीने में एक भी नहीं होती, सारा दिन रगड़ा लगता है, सारा दिन रगड़ा लगता है. And as a youngster, remember, जितना रगड़ा खाओगे उतना अच्छा होगा. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a small example of my time management. When you were second lieutenant, all the officers after lunch in Suratgarh, in summers, Suratgarh in summers, you can imagine.
49 degrees, 48 degrees, 49 degrees.
44 degrees. They would go back and sleep in their coolers. Cooler on karke ke bhi, now we'll come at 4:30 when it's games time. So I had these 3 hours with me. I would go back to my company barracks, take out my weapons of MMG, RCL, rifle, and drag my ustads, havaldars who were weapon qualified and tell them, teach me. They were sick of me. कि साहब आप lunch time पे क्यों आए? मैंने कहा time ही ये है. This is the only 3 hours I get, 1.5 from 1:30 to 4:30. So I get this 2-3 hours, and for minimum 2 hours I was with them. It taught me so much, and I taught all my youngsters bio courses. And the moment you start doing a good thing, one high life point, you want to do a second high life point. When you get a second high life, you want to do a third high life. I am AXI. I am almost topped all my courses in my life. As a till colonel, I have topped almost all my courses in my life. Because then it drives you. It takes you on. But from where did it come? Those 3 hours in the afternoon where other people slept, I went and did my work. So this is how you achieve your high points. Next, anyone else?
Right, sir. We'll end the session here. I think that was a fantastic talk, as well as your experiences. And I'm so grateful to you, sir, for sparing your time. And I know you're so busy.
Marker, what keeps me going?
Last question. What keeps you going? Correct, sir. This question you can take, sir.
You see, I remember, I like I told you, that every bone in my body is broken almost. And I've got 6 operations of hernia. Today, I know if I don't go out, if I don't motivate myself to work, think new, I'm dead. The day you stop learning, you are a dead man. The day you stop developing your mental facilities, you are a dead man. Whether I've started a new little private business, yes, the day I don't do something innovative which mentally stimulates me, I'm a dead man. I will catch bed and die a very unpeaceful death. So till the time you got that courage in you, josh in you. With broken bones, you have to do 14 kilometers. It pains, but I have to go out. Otherwise, you are as good as a bloody fat dog who's about to die in a corner of your house. You are a human being. You cannot give up. You are a human. Animals give up. Dogs give up. People with low IQ who got no confidence, they give up. But an intelligent human will never give up. That's what distinguishes a human with animal. Keep on going. Till the end, keep on going. And when you keep on going, you will be the happiest person to go. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. For
My
the
pleasure.
interesting this thing once again. And for all those who don't know, sir's book is available on Amazon. The title of the book is Timed Out. Am I right, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. The book on time management. The name is Timed Out. TIMED. Timed Out. It's available on Amazon. You can see that. And there's other books, Crimson Kashmir, and which was the other one, sir? Not
Kargil
Kargil
Knot.
Not. Kargil Not. Kargil
And
Not.
one second on management
Conniving communication.
communication.
I still remember all the titles, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We will be proceeding with our next.
Enjoy. See you guys. Have a great day.